All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for your everybody participating. It looks like we've got an incredible crowd today. Good to see everybody. My name again is Eric Auger. I am just here to be one of your webinar hosts here at American Business System. Let me share with you, for those that are first time on here, let me share the little story about American Business Systems and where it began. It began by these two lovebirds here, as you can see there, Patrick and Linda. Linda actually started in medical billing over 30 years ago. And then since then, it has grown into a company that's over 28 years old. Patrick saw that what Linda was doing and said, "Hey, honey, I think we can teach this to other people." And folks, here we are 28 plus years later. So that's what we're doing and have been doing for quite some time. What centralizes everything is our platform, and we'll talk briefly about that. We will not go in depth into the platform. We will do that on future webinars. Matter of fact, we're going to show you on our YouTube channel that there's a place where you can go on there and actually see the entire webinar on the platform itself. But even better yet, we're going to show you how you can contact the person that invited you to the webinar today to ask them to do a demo for you, to kind of step you through that. Matter of fact, I was talking with Adam right before we got started here, and he was about to start one right at 4 o'clock. So whoever's doing the demo with him is not on the webinar today, but that's okay. But you can get back with the person that asked you to join the webinar, and they'll be happy to set that up. And not only do we have the billing platform and the teaching and training and the support for the iClaim and EMRx platform, but we have several different services, service lines that you can actually add to what you're already doing. Now, folks, this doesn't come at any extra cost. What you've been talking with your rep here at American Business Systems includes everything that we're talking about, which includes all of our technology partners that are associated with this. So you get the top notch of everybody. When we talk about top notch, not only top notch, but the top awards that these companies and these partners have partnered with American Business Systems, because we support them with more medical billing companies of what we're able to do. Obviously, we get to pass the sharings on to the doctors and everybody else that's involved. But what you really get is, again, all of this technology and the awards and everything that goes along with you, as though that you've been in business for years. And that's what you're going to really want to be known for. And you'll see why that's so important as we kind of move through this. Now, some of the important books and information that you're going to want to keep getting and to learn. There's 3 books here that have been written by Patrick, and some others that have been some booklets, but these 3 are very good that you're going to want to get a hold of. How to Reprogram Yourself for Success. All of these books are available on Amazon, but the one that's in the middle, The New Thriving Medical Practice, actually comes with your business package. And what I mean by that is, it's not that you're just getting one book, but there's a surprise to that. We'll share that with you as you kind of listen in the rest of the webinar. And even though that Patrick has written several books, he and Adam have both been contributing editorial contributors to the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. And also the folks that actually do all of your certifications. So yes, included in the price that you're getting with here at American Business Systems is your certification from the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, MRMA.org. And here's just a quick little snapshot of the certification that you get. And you will be able to put CMRM, that Certified Medical Revenue Manager, after your name. Those are your credentials that you'll get to put on your business card and your letterhead and other places. And so, folks, without any further ado, we're going to get this thing kicked off here. And is medical billing a good franchise for my market? And I think Patrick is going to join us via something through a, there he is. It's like your Star Trek or something. And you have to unmute even on your phone.
Oh,
there we go.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just working here in my home, and I thought I'd just get on my phone today and see if it worked doing this. I can see a little picture of you there, Eric, and of course your slides. So yeah, I think it's working fine on my phone. Zoom is an amazing technology.
It absolutely is. I'm going to clear out some of this information on here on the Q&A. But so just as we get started here, how did this topic come up about, is this a good franchise for my market, Patrick?
Well, we have people ask us that all the time. Is this a franchise? And so I was answering somebody the other day, and they said, "Oh, I didn't realize this is not a franchise." I said, "No, we decided many years ago not to go that route because franchises have territories. They restrict you to where you can do business. With our license that we issue for our system, Eric, as you know, it's nationwide. Your territory is the United States of America. You can sign up doctors in any state. The license allows you to bill for any doctor, any specialty, anywhere in the United States. And the other thing is we don't have royalties. On the back end,
Right.
franchises will charge 6 to 8% usually right off the top profits, and we don't do that either. So you don't owe us anything at all after you've paid our initial licensing fee, which is $28,990. Just say 29,000 basically.
But all those service lines are included. It is including a lifetime of support. It includes your training and it includes your certification. So Patrick, as we kind of go through this, there's a lot of things that are obviously included outside of just being what most folks would think of as a franchise. Now you mentioned that it's nationwide. So again, there's no territories as a franchise, but the reason that you can bill for a doctor living in California or Florida is really because they're all using the same codes. You want to kind of quickly talk about how medical codes are produced, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty about each person's market here.
Yes, and we use that term franchise, by the way, here in the title of this webinar because people are used to that term. It's not a legal term. You don't have to be legally a franchise because it just means it's a system of some kind, and that's what we have is a billing system and
Sure.
electronic records as well. So, sorry, I forgot the question.
Oh, that's okay. I was asking you about the codes and how you can bill for a doctor in California, even if you're living in Florida. How can I have business in one state and bill for a doctor in another state?
Yeah, well, most people know that there are codes involved in medical billing. In other words, there's a code for every diagnostic code, of course, has to be put in by the doctor. And then there's procedure codes. Whatever the doctor does for the patient, that's a procedure code. So two main types of codes. And those are usually something that you have to have a certified medical coder to do. Well, Eric, with our system, all those codes are built into our cloud-based system, and they're always updated on a regular basis. So you never have to wonder whether you've got the latest codes or not. So they're available there for our licensees to go in and use those codes for any doctor in any state. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Now, obviously, a lot of people want to know what's the market like for this. And folks, when you're getting in any type of business, whether it's selling snow cones on the side of the road or the lemonade stand or anything else, you got to know what is your market and what does it look like and what's the potential future for your market. And Patrick, I thought I'd put this up here. This is from Verified Market Research, and it's talking about the Global Revenue Cycle Management, RCM. So folks, if you don't know what that means, just real quickly, all that means is, in plain English, medical billing. Okay, that's what that means. So
yeah, the revenue cycle management. You're managing the revenue cycle in the doctor's office, which includes all the money that is owed to them by insurance companies, Medicare, Medicaid, and of course, even by the patients. That's all part of their revenue cycle.
Yep, absolutely. But this is graphically what we're going to show you in some text here. But Patrick, we're looking at a growth here that's pretty significant, even into 2028. And here we are at getting towards the end of 2022. So there's plenty of growth. And Patrick, we've been looking at this growth for, gosh, you and I've been doing webinars for nearly 15 years together. And we keep seeing year by year these growths. So I thought I'd put this up here on the screen here to kind of talk about the, what that graph is showing. Patrick, are you able to see that and able to? Okay, good.
Yes, you bet. This was basically in 2020. This whole market was valued at 105 billion. And by 2028, which is just 5 years from now, it's going to grow to 249 billion, Eric. So if I were looking at getting into a business right now, I probably wouldn't open a restaurant or a theater or a car dealership. But man, this one's just growing and will always be there, right? As long as there's human beings that get sick.
Yes, absolutely. And there's sick people because there's a growing population, which Patrick and I are both in that aging population. So we're finding out that we're going to the doctor a little bit more frequently than we had been in the past. So we know that very well.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't care because the alternative is that you're not here, and I'd
That's
rather be here.
yeah, absolutely.
Because I got 5 grandkids that I'd like to see grow up and get married and get on their own and be able to support themselves.
You bet. Now, folks, so that's just the basically the kind of the tip of the iceberg of what we want to talk about as the market. Now, one thing that I'll share with you before we go any further here is that a lot of these slides that have quotes from certain people or certain industries, we actually have their little URL down at the very bottom. Now, you can get a copy of today's slide deck from your person that has invited you here. You can get that probably from them tomorrow. So if you want to share this with somebody else a little bit later throughout the week, maybe going into the weekend, obviously it's being recorded so you can watch it a little bit later if you'd like to do that. And then lastly, remember that Q&A box is open over there. So I'm kind of monitoring that. But folks, as we know, we're going into this market, you know that it's a strong market. There's great opportunity. But one of the biggest things, Patrick, that I thought we could start off with, it was just us as individuals. And I think a lot of times that we hear from different vendors or service people, especially people that will come maybe knocking on your door and they want to do your roof or they want to do your plumbing or they want to do your HVAC, and they say we're a trusted organization. Well, how do we know that? I mean, how do we
Yeah.
know that we can trust them? I don't know you. Now, maybe your business has said that, but one way that ABS has been able to build trust is the length in which you've been around, and obviously the folks that have gone through this. But really, I just thought I'd share this because one of the things that you need to understand, and Patrick, you've taught this so many times, that people like to do business with people who, I'll let you finish it,
They know, like, and trust. Yeah.
know, like, and trust. So a lot of times we got to figure out how do we do that? How do we build that? And joining American Business Systems kind of puts you already as a trusted vendor out there. How does that happen, Patrick?
Well, it happens because we've been around so long, 28 years. We've built a reputation in the marketplace. NextGen obviously has a huge reputation. They're the biggest in the healthcare industry that powers our medical billing platform and our electronic medical records. And so you're tapping into the trust that we have, that NextGen has. You don't need to have a whole history. You can position it like I tell people when you talk to somebody. Just say, "Look, I just opened a local office here in this city of the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies." There, you've positioned yourself. You see, by saying that I'm a part of a huge nationwide network. We do thousands of claims every day for hundreds of doctors from coast to coast, and we collect millions of dollars that they wouldn't collect otherwise without our system. So there, again, that makes you sound a whole lot better than just saying, "You know what? I just kind of work part-time, spare bedroom. I've got a corner over there that my wife stuck me in, and that's where I work."
That's correct. Yeah. And so folks, again, that partnership with American Business Systems actually starts you are right on the right foot. And I don't take away from any other business opportunity or franchise out there. Obviously, whatever you're looking for, whatever you're trying to find, obviously, hopefully some of those business opportunities or franchises have that. But this we know because, again, towards the end of the webinar, we're going to show you how you can actually talk to some of those folks that have taken the plunge, become a business owner with American Business System, and how that's actually pretty much has changed their lives there. But again, what we're going to show you is understanding how to connect with the community. And Patrick, I think this is where a lot of people might start getting a little nervous because they're already starting to think, oh boy, Patrick and Eric is going to start to talk about how I need to go sell this business. There has nothing to do with selling. You want to share that information a little bit?
Yeah, in fact, we've had people join us that had a background in sales or marketing or just their own business, and they thought that they knew better than we did, and they've gone out and tried some marketing ideas that they thought worked. Maybe it works in another business, but it doesn't work in this one. And so
Right.
they'll come to us and say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, are you doing these 12 things that we taught you to do? And they go, well, no. Okay, then that may be the problem. So doctors don't want to be sold anything, Eric. And the great thing is that with this business, all you're doing is educating the doctors. That helps build the trust that we're talking
Sure.
about. And once those doctors somewhat trust you because of some other things we're going to talk about here on the webinar, they will basically say, okay, well, then I guess I'll give you a try. Why wouldn't I? You know, if you're going to thousands of dollars a month and bring in more money than I've ever brought in before.
You bet. Before we go any further, because I don't want to lose these questions here, Fonny's asking 2 questions. I didn't come through any reference. I joined on my own self-interest. Can you send the slide deck to my registered email? Yes, we'll find that. And then second, where do I find these recordings on the same website? Yes, we're going to actually show you where you can find those. So we'll get you taken care of there. Josh is asking, do you necessarily need a medical billing or medical background to start this business? That's really what we're kind of kicking things off here, Josh, is that you really don't need to have a background, because immediately you're going to be supported not only by the folks at NextGen, but with our support team as well here at American Business Systems. So we're going to help you kind of walk you through this whole scenario again. But that's a great question to ask the business rep that you're working with here, and they'll really be able to kind of get in the nitty gritty about how and why you don't need a background in anything. And then lastly, Nicole's asking, are we informed of other partners in our area? And you know, sometimes I'm assuming you're asking about other partners that are here with American Business Systems. Sometimes, yes, those can truly be some of your best assets for support. And we'll share with you a little bit about that and how that actually helps you, you know, partner with other, maybe even other ABS licensees. Because as we stated earlier, what we have found, and Patrick, you can verify this, is that we've known people that maybe even live here in Texas, but they don't do billing for anybody here in Texas. It's probably somewhere else, another state.
That's right. In fact, our lead instructor, Cynthia, as you know, Eric, she's been in the business now for 8 or 9 years, I think. And she has clients all over the United States. She says, I've never talked to most of them. I mean, I've never seen them face to face. She'll have Zoom meetings with them, you know. But when a doctor in your city refers you to another doctor that's in another city, that doctor doesn't really care a whole lot about. They just want you to do their best at that point.
Yeah, because what I've learned is that you may be seeing even your family practitioner here, but you know, he's gone to school with somebody else that he went to school with, and that person may now be in Florida now. And he says, oh, you know what?
Exactly.
I know I don't need any, but hey, my buddy over there in Florida needs it. Can you do their billing? And the answer is yeah. So kind of going back to Nicole's question, yeah, you can have support here locally. Now, one of the things,
in fact, that's why we have a Facebook group. You know, we got over 200 of our business owners that are in the Facebook group. It's a community of people that share things out there. Really, you don't have any competition, folks. When you look at this market carefully, like we're going to today, oh gosh, there's so many doctors in your area, you could never ever reach them all.
No, absolutely you can. But one of the things that you could do right now, as you're doing your due diligence, you live in a community of somewhere. And I would go, as soon as this webinar is over, I would check into your local chamber of commerce. Now, folks, your chamber of commerce is there to help support you. Now, we're not supporting any particular chamber of commerce, but Patrick, you know that a lot of our business owners here at ABS have gotten business from attending just their local chamber of commerce.
Yeah, I talk to them all the time. I was going to say earlier, if people want to find out if people need a background in the medical field, just ask some of the references that you'll be given by your ABS rep.
Yeah.
What was your background? And you'll find out probably 9 out of 10 had no background in the medical industry or field at all.
Right. Absolutely. So what I'm suggesting is you go do some of your homework. Go to your local chamber. Go visit go do one of their luncheons. Locally where I live, we just had our luncheon yesterday. I can just let you know, I live in a very small community. Patrick knows where I live, but you know, we had nearly 200 people in our luncheon yesterday. Now, that's amazing because those people, guess what, know other people who know other people. And I'm telling you, that's how you start to build your market, and you got to build it locally. And I think, Patrick, sometimes we stop and think that really it gets down to what I mentioned earlier. The people will do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. And one of
Right.
the best ways to build that liking part of who you are is attend some of these local networking things that you can be a part of.
Yeah, and there's other organizations besides Chamber of Commerce that do networking as well.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to put some of these up here on the screen right now.
All right, here they come.
So here's we obviously we know the Chamber of Commerce is there. Some of these are going to come up. Let me see if I can get these. I don't know if I can get them all. Oh, there we go. I just got
There
them
we are.
up all at one time.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Meetup.
tell
I
us
just talked to one of our licensees. That's how we refer to our business owners. And they had gone to a meetup meeting. They said it was great. The meetups
yes,
are just set up spontaneously in your city. You go to meetup.com and you'll find, I mean, you can actually search for things that have to do with marketing and stuff like that, and just go and be at those meetings and get to know people and pass out your business cards. It's a wonderful way to get some referrals coming from you. What you want is to connect with people in your community, as Eric has said here, that have some connections in the medical field. Somebody is going to know a doctor who has complained to them about, trying to collect the money from insurance companies, for example.
you bet. Yeah. Jose is asking, do I need to register my business in states where each doctor is located? No, you don't have to do that. As Patrick mentioned, our one of the ladies that does all of our training, she lives in Arizona, and she's got doctors all over the country.
Yeah.
But she does all of her business there in Arizona.
Yeah. And so you'll want to register with your county in the city that you're in. Some of them have registration, some of them don't. But you just call up and ask the county clerk, what do I do to register my business? Now, that's assuming that you've already established your business name, and you can check with them and actually see if there's anybody else in your area using your name. And we'll guide you through all that. That's part of our training, Eric. I mean, we take people by the hand that's never been in business and give them every
Correct.
detail about how to do that.
You bet. Chin Wee is asking some very specific questions on the research guide handout, which is great. We're going to talk about the research guide. So she's doing her research, and it's talking about the monthly cost for the iClaim and for the EMRX platforms. And let me share with you, those costs are not hidden costs. Those aren't additional costs that are coming from you as a licensee. Those are costs that are nominal, regular, normal costs that doctors have to pay for software. And so in all cases that we see, doctors are already paying for that. So there's just a swapping of basically what they're currently using versus going with your platform. And that money never comes to us. Those go through our partnerships. But Patrick, you want to kind of add to that why we don't ask for any franchise fees or royalty fees or anything else, why our partners have these, and then we can that helps us support our supporting of our licensees.
Yeah, we're using Zoom here for today, folks. Well, to use Zoom, it's not free. I mean, well, there are free versions, but to do what we're doing, a webinar like this that's recorded and has questions and answers and that kind of thing, you have to pay a subscription fee, a monthly subscription fee. That's all those fees are there in the guide, is fees that you pass on to the doctor, by the way. You don't pay them.
Right.
The doctor's office pays those depending on how you bill the doctor. So again, those are minimal things that have nothing to do with whether or not you're going to make a ton of money doing this billing for doctors, as you'll see here in a little while.
You bet. Now, what other ways that you can learn more about your marketing area is to utilize and work with local medical reps, sales reps. Now, Patrick, this is a great opportunity that you can learn about your area and then build some relationships with them even prior to becoming a business owner with American Business Systems. You could certainly find out, who some of these reps are, find out, that you could be going through, having lunch with them and kind of seeing what the market looks like. Who knows, out of that, you may end up with a potential client already because they're already working with doctors, because remember, they've already built that trust that they like, know, and trust. That might be a great opportunity to work with some of those folks just right there.
Yeah, that's part of our training. Again, we'll take you through every aspect of how to utilize sales reps, how to find them, how to hire them, interview them, train them. We even have training materials on our licensee website that you can point them to, and of course, pay them. And usually, sales reps are willing to pay work on a commission basis, especially if you give them a monthly commission on all the billing that you're doing. You can give them a small, tiny share of that, and they are just thrilled to be able to go out and bring you as many clients as they can.
You bet.
Hey, Eric, I'm going to turn off my camera. It's cutting out here on me, but I'll be here.
Okay, very good. Now, folks, one of the things that we used to have a search to do a Google search, but my goodness, Google is so good, and gosh, there's so many other things that you could do out there. But I wanted to put up here, and Patrick and I were kind of kicking this around. We were looking at what is your market area? You know, is it 50? Is it a 50-mile radius? Is it larger than that? Is it a metropolitan area? We're going to show you both of those. So folks, we just kind of say, if you're going to drive within 10, 15 minutes of yourself, I just pulled up Columbia, South Carolina. That's what this particular area is. But you can start to see in one little area all of the different doctors that might be in your area. So here's doctor care. Here is a dermatologist and plastic surgeon. Here's a skin clinic. Here's a pediatric group. Here's an eye clinic. Here's neurosurgery. And all of these bill all of their claims on what's called a CMS 1500 form. So folks, if these folks are billing on a CMS 1500 form, you can do their billing. If we go out a little bit further, let's just say that we look at the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Obviously, this is a bigger metroplex. I couldn't put all of these on there. I couldn't capture all of this is just a small sampling of all the doctors that are here in the area. Certainly, there's more than 19, 20 that are on here. But whenever you kind of do a Google list, you have to start really going into certain areas. But that's something you can start to do. And again, look, here's Healthcare Associates of Texas. Here's an OBGYN group. Here's a Medical City Arlington. Here's an urgent care. Here's another pediatrics. There's a hospital. Can't do any billing for hospitals unless you know some hospital billing, and we've got some things on the back end that could help you out with that. But Patrick, just doing a quick search in your area on doctors, that's all I put in there. You want to add any more to that, Patrick?
Yeah, here's the thing. When you start doing a search, you can do billing for all of these specialties that you see here. In fact, there are dozens of specialties. And of course, in our training, we're going to tell you the top 10 that you should aim for. But the point is that there is no restrictions whatsoever. You can do billing for any of these places, even dentists.
Yep, absolutely. Patrick, before we go any further, there was a question that came up here from Fonnie one more time. And do you mind slowly just kind of going through the financial model, how ABS continues to keep making money without a franchise fee or royalty-free fees? You mind doing that one more time?
Yeah, Eric, do you have a slide that shows all of the brochures from all of our services,
I will
or the
find that
boxes
for
would
you.
work?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, I'll do that.
we've mentioned already, folks, that we have a dozen or so other ancillary services that you can offer to doctors. Now, these are all included in your license fee. You don't have to pay extra for any of these, but they're also optional. You don't have to offer any of them if you don't want to, but the more you learn about all these things, the more you realize that these will open doors for you. They'll get you in to talk to the doctor or the office manager about things. And you make money on every one of these services that they sign up for. So on our end, on the back end, ABS has just decided that we have a few pennies on each transaction that we get from the client, from your doctor that pays for these services. We get a few of those pennies on the back end, and that's what keeps us from having to charge anything for royalties.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Patrick.
Yeah.
Pratik is asking, these doctors will probably already have someone doing their billing for them. He said, matter of fact, Fonnie said, it's perfect answer. Thank you. We appreciate that. Obviously, Pratik, yes, every doctor if they're in business today, they're already doing billing. That is the fact, and everybody
Yeah.
needs to understand that. And he goes on to say, well, how do we get them to move away from that resource and move to us? Great question. And again, I think Praytech, that's one of those areas where if you'll ask the business person that you're working with here at ABS to go through and do a very thorough demonstration of the software, they're going to kind of help you answer that, because what they're also going to take you through is the information where you're getting information from the doctor. You're going to get all of their information. You're going to put it into a practice analysis questionnaire to get out a report. And that report will show them, based upon what they're currently doing and versus what they could be doing, and the amount of money that they're basically leaving on the table. So we do not try to sell or resell the software. We let the doctor see what they're losing versus what they're gaining. And that's usually where we win on just about every single time. But that's through us helping you do that demonstration as well.
Yeah, just ask for that demonstration and we'll get somebody online to go through that with you. We don't try to sell you anything now on this demonstration call.
Absolutely.
It's just to show you exactly how competitive and advanced features we have in the software. We've heard doctors on the other end watching these demos just kind of gasp and say, wow, when they see some of the stuff that we can do.
And Chinwe was just asking about the same thing about the demo. Yes, anybody that wants to go check it out, get with the business coach that you're working with here, and they'll let you see that demo way beforehand. Now, one of the things as you're doing your market and you're starting to look at your market, now Patrick is going to, we're already at the bottom of the hour, already into the second half of this hour already. What we're going to start talking to you about is really what you can do once you know your market. You've made some of those contacts, maybe you've met some sales reps, or you got introduced to folks. Now, these are some of the things that you can start doing to start, again, building that credibility, building that trust. And one of them, now that we are post-pandemic, and I can say this because I know it already, I'm in doctors' offices and hospitals, have been in and out of them all week long. You're starting to go in there and do what's called lunch and learns again in person. Patrick, you want to talk about how important this role of what our licensees are doing?
Yes, and as you can see illustrated there, this is somebody who's doing one in front of a group of people, but in some cases, you're just taking your laptop in, having lunch with the staff at the doctor's office, and on your laptop or iPad, you're actually just going through a little slideshow that we've already created for you that guides you through exactly what to say and all the advantages of signing up with us. You know, it's 10, 15 minutes at the most. And of course, afterwards, they'll be asking a lot of questions, and you can, sign them up for a practice analysis if they'd like to find out if you can actually help their office bring in more money for them, which you can, but you never know until you do the practice analysis.
Another thing you can do, if you don't like to do those in person, you can do those via Zoom. The great thing about Zoom, as you're kind of doing your startup, Patrick mentioned earlier that Zoom does cost, but you can sign up for them for free and host a 40-minute meeting for free. There's no cost, there's no charge, utilizing Zoom. And Patrick, this is one of the best utilized, I think, almost underutilized tools that our licensees actually do. You could go in there, and got to remember, during lunch periods and lunch times at doctors' offices, they don't have long anyway. So if you can get 15, 20 minutes to share some of the things that you're doing, especially on HIPAA compliance issues. Again, we're going to teach you and share all of that information with you about how to do that. Pretty impressive, some things that you can do out there.
Yeah, this is just one of about a dozen different marketing tools that we give you. And this one just happens to be one of those that people love because, again, we teach you how to use technology to make those presentations where you don't even have to show up.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you can even use Zoom to record those and download them and put them on your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page. And there's so many things you can do, because obviously everybody that's on this call are wondering, how do I get that first client? And if you're listening closely, Patrick and I are kind of giving you little bitty tidbits about what you can do and what you're going to learn in depth when you come through our training. So that's one of them. The other one is this place called NPI. Patrick, what is What is NPI registry search? What is that?
That is a national physician identification number, and you don't even have to have numbers. You can, as you can see from the search screen there, you can actually type in something like your zip code, for example, and
Yeah.
you'll see all of the medical providers in your area. Now, this is provided by the U.S. government, so we know it's up to date. We know it's accurate. And folks, I encourage you to get that little link that you see at the bottom there. I think you can just do a search for NPI registry and you'll
Mhm.
find this site. But it's a great way for you to prove to yourself that yes, this franchise will be very suited to your market because there's so many doctors in your market that you could never again call on all of them.
No way. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we keep saying that the market is not saturated. The only thing that's saturated out there is that doctors are doing billing already. They're probably doing billing with other organizations. Some of them may not be in their own location. They may want to have it in their own location. Some are doing it with their own office staff, which we can show you how that is costing the doctor more money, anywhere from 20 to 40% more if they're doing their own billing. So those are some of the things we're going to teach you about. Another search that you can go out there and do is with the AMA, and that's the American Medical Association, and find more private practices through there. And I think I actually skipped one here, Patrick. It's this one, Meditech, and that's if you go to this one, I couldn't fit all of the associations that were on
Yeah.
this one slide here. You'd have to go out there and just see it's just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah, I don't know if we put a slide in here that talks about medical societies, but Eric did
Yes,
a
we
little.
did. Yep.
Oh, there it is right there,
Yeah.
the Tarrant County. This is the one that Eric joined this organization a few years back and went to one of their meetings. They had a dinner with all the doctors and their wives, and he and his wife went to this and met some doctors there. And one of them said, "Can you call me Monday morning at 8 o'clock? I want to talk to you." So
Yeah.
all you do is just introduce yourself, and these doctors are all wide open when you start talking about being able to bring them. Sometimes, in some cases, folks, thousands of dollars a month in extra revenue because of the uniqueness of our billing system, our built-in clearinghouse, and all kinds of other advantages that we have.
You bet. Someone's asking here, based on past licensee experience, is charging an onboarding fee to set up a client pretty common other than the monthly percentage? If so, what do those typically fees look like? The answer is yes. There's a lot of times where a lot of our licensees have gotten setup fees. Again, you're going to want to do that. I think we just lost Patrick, so I just want to make sure we just lost him and you didn't lose everybody here. Anyway, we were showing this particular because we were showing just the growth of franchise ownerships that are growing throughout the market and what's going on through all of that. So we're just going to just share just a little bit about that. Folks, again, let me see if I can read another question here. What is the average time taken for a typical transaction? How many transactions do a typical doctor's office can do per day? Do I need to, or can I recruit more people without paying additional setup fees and licenses? The answer to your last question is yes. You don't have to pay any more than what you're already paying. If you can have as many people working for you and utilizing the system. There's no what's called a per seat license whenever you're getting into that. Now, typically, because I've done billing, I know this pretty much for a fact. But most doctors are seeing anywhere from 20 to 25 patients a day, sometimes a little bit more. If you're working with a doctor that's seeing that many people, typically you're going to be working that one doctor. And whenever I say this, working at doctor, you may be working that doctor about 2 hours. Now that 2 hours may be a little bit here in the morning because you're going to type in and get all of their claims put in. And then as the day goes on, as claims are being paid from past, now you're starting to post those. So that typical 20 to 25 patients a day is going to take you about 2 hours a day at a time to kind of get that done. So typically one person can handle in a day's time anywhere from 4 to 5 doctors, if you think about it. When you start to get over that, then you're going to want to obviously have more people to work with you and for you. So obviously, yes, Fonnie, you're going to want to have that there. So hopefully that helped answer your question there. And you're very welcome. Thank you. I appreciate the response there. At least it lets me know that I'm not here by myself, too. Now, whenever it comes to marketing, and I know a lot of people, again, are a little bit concerned about selling and marketing. But folks, you're getting a full package here with us here at American Business System. So you're not going to be left alone. One of the biggest ways, my second client that I personally got was through this campaign that I'm showing you right now. We got to meet a doctor at one of those networking meetings that we've talked about, had a face-to-face visit with them. The doctor says, no, well, I think we're going to stick with our biller at this time. And then we put them on what's called this cloud-based automated marketing system. And what we did, you can see that there's little campaigns that are already built in here. Now, this is part of one of your services, and you'll get to have this, and you'll start what we call just drip marketing campaign. This is obviously to help people keep you on top of mind. So when something goes wrong, and so the rest of the story is that when we got through, put this one doctor on this drip campaign, and in about 2 weeks to 3 weeks later, someone called me and says, you know what? You've been so good at keeping us informed about some information. We would like for you to come back in. The doctor wants to talk with you. Next thing I knew, that we were going to dinner with them at their country club. And the next thing we were doing, we were signing a contract with them. So folks, ABS knows what they're doing whenever it comes down to marketing, because remember earlier we said in the webinar, one of the things that you need to have is trust. And one of the biggest credibilities that you need to have is another doctor saying the same thing that you're saying. And so we have that credibility for you through a doctor. Her name is Dr. Vicki Rackner. Some of you may have heard her on some of our webinars that we've had in the past. She is available for you. Not only is she available, she actually has a letter that she can write on your behalf to your potential doctor. Now, what better way can you have that as a somewhat of a 1-2 punch? Not only do you have her as being a doctor partner of yours, and I'm going to show you here in just a moment that she is one of the co-writers of the book that I mentioned to you early on. But having Dr. Rackner write a personal letter to your doctor and then being able to help support you with that. She is a well-known author. She's written this book called The Myth of the Rich Doctor, which has been sold hundreds of thousands of times out there in the United States. But look at just one quick couple of quotes here. She says here, physicians in private practice walk away from an average of 30% of their income. Outsourcing your medical billing could bring claim rejection rate as low as 2 to 5%. This may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow. Now, here, this is coming from a doctor who wrote this and writes these books to doctors. She could write a letter for you on your behalf. Plus, again, let's get back to this book, The New Thriving Medical Practice. What's great about this is that this is part of your marketing techniques of what you're going to be doing here. So the New Thriving Medical Practice, again, talks to the doctors about all the things that they could be, where they're losing money and what they can do to fix them. But one of the great things here, you see, not only is it written by Patrick and Dr. Vicki Rackner, they're at the very bottom. You see, you might have to get really close to your screen there, here, and it says here, forward by Susan Smith. Y'all hang on one second. Patrick's calling in. Let's see if he's calling me. Can you hear me, Patrick?
Yes, Eric. I'm sorry. Are you still on the webinar?
I am. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm sorry. I got disconnected and then I didn't have a certain password or something that Zoom wanted, so I couldn't get in. Can you put me on speaker and would that come through your mic okay if I want to talk?
I've got it on. I've got it as close to the speaker as possible. So let me just keep it right there, and then hopefully people can hear Patrick. But Patrick, I was just talking to, yeah, they said they can hear you just fine through my phone. So we'll keep it that way. So folks, what we have here is this book here is that the foreword's written by someone called Susan Smith, CMRM. Well, obviously that's not particularly you, but it can be you and it will be you. Because remember, when you go through our training, you will become a certified medical revenue manager. And then what we'll do when we send you these books will actually have your name on that book and you've written the foreword to the book. We actually have a templated forward that if you want to keep it, you can keep it there. If you want to add to it or change it up a little bit, just work with our support team and we'll make sure that the forward is just exactly how you want it. So this is an incredible book to be able to, let's say you go to one of those Chamber of Commerce meetings, or you're at one of those networking meetings. You want to make sure that you keep a couple of these and say, hey, yeah, I'm in medical billing. Matter of fact, I wrote the forward to this one particular book. And you go, hey, if you know of a doctor that could use some help, you know what? Give this to them as a gift from me to them. And we'll actually show you how to put stickers on the book. And even tabulate this out so that the people can get to them some of the certain of the parts of the book pretty quickly. Patrick, even though you're dialing in from a phone, you want to add any more about what I've said about the new thriving medical practice?
Yeah, Eric, goes back to that question that we talked about earlier about trust. How do you build trust? Well, one of the ways you do that is you put your name on the front cover of a book that was written by a doctor. And so there's instant credibility that you've got just because your name is on the cover of that book. And of course, you can put your contact information on the inside of the book as well. So it's a great marketing tool. This is on Amazon, I think, for $24.95, but you literally can buy these books from us folks for about $4 a piece, personalized with your name on the front cover. That's what we've done for our licensees, is we pass on to them all of our exact costs on any marketing materials. You get about 20 of 3 different books when you first sign up with us, but you can order more as you run out.
Absolutely. So you get about 20 plus books there out of your marketing part of what you get here whenever you're signed up. And when we're talking about all the marketing material, I'm showing that right now on the screen here is all these different the flyers that you get with the other books. We've got how doctors let money just slip through their fingers. We've got the new thriving medical practice. We've got the 10 critical questions that for physicians to ask. Then all of our different flyers. We've got everything that you need. So whenever you start off with American Business System, it is truly a turnkey startup here. That's what you're literally getting, including your choice of the templated websites that have already been designed and it's ready to go. We just need to fill in all of your information. So we've even taken the hard work of getting a website up, all taken care of for you.
Yeah, folks, we have spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years developing all of these marketing tools, including the books, the websites, the flyers. That's all been paid for. So if you add up, order that research guide that we talked about earlier and go through and see what would it cost me if I had to start from scratch to build this business and develop all these tools. You'll find out that it's much, much more than the $29,000 that we charge as the franchise fee.
There you go. Absolutely. Got some other questions coming in. Are we able to preview the book prior to signing up? You can. If you'll go out and get with the person that invited you here, we actually have this in a digital format. It's in a PDF format. So go out and request that. We'll be happy to get you a copy of that. And then you can go ahead and read that. Obviously, if you want a hard copy, just go out to Amazon and go grab it yourself. Like Patrick said, it's $24.95 out there. But if you're about to spend $29,000, $25 investment just to kind of see what's going on is very, very helpful for you on that. Let's see. So Fonnie's asking, so these purchases can be made after we sign up and get the license, correct? Yeah, any of the additional books that you need, you're going to get a set of you're going to get about 2,000 marketing pieces out of this, plus the new Thriving Medical Practice book. If there's anything that you need afterwards, if you run out of anything, there's a place that we can show you how to purchase these. Again, this is at cost. It's not a franchise where we're having to mark up the cost on these things. All of that's there for you.
Eric, again, I don't know where you're at in the slide deck, but I'm just looking at my watch here, and I got 7 minutes until the hour's up. So
yeah, we're coming toward the end, and I'm just making sure that we get all of these questions answered. I've got our slide deck up here that has our this part of here where ABS has a true cloud based integrated system. I'll leave that up there while I'm kind of answering some of these questions here. Let's see. Here's a great question, Patrick, that you might help answer. What prevents doctors from simply getting iClaim and EMRX and having their existing staff do it themselves? Anyway, ABS safeguards licensees' interest. Great question there.
Yeah, folks, we're very careful about that when we are searching for new licensees like yourself. We're actually only going to talk with people that are in areas where we don't have a whole lot of licensees. And as far as the doctors are concerned, first of all, NextGen doesn't work directly with doctors one-on-one. They are not going to take a phone call from a doctor just out of the blue like that. They want to work through representatives like our licensees who've been trained to demo and show and set up everything about their system. So that's why the doctors are not going to go direct to the to NextGen, for example, to sign up. They can't do that direct.
Yeah. Nicole's asking, does the software have email capabilities? And the answer is yes. There is a HIPAA way in which doctors can communicate back and forth with their patients. That's obviously through their EMRX and through their cloud-based patient portal. They can obviously do messaging with their doctors. So there's a lot of things that are taken care of there. Latia is asking, the reason I'm doing this, Patrick, we've got so many questions that have come in. It's been very helpful. Are doctors paid directly from insurance companies? And the answer is yes. So what you're doing, you're billing the doctor. The doctor will get paid. You're keeping up with all the information through the entire system here, as you're kind of seeing here. And then at the end of the month, you'll know how much the doctor got paid for, because it's all coming back through your system, and you're doing all of the posting of the payments anyway. So you'll just run a report out of here at the end of the month. If it's 75,000 or 80,000, you're going to be charging your 6, 7, 8% of what you've agreed with the doctor to do that work for. And then you just you send the doctor an invoice on what they've already gotten paid and for what you did for the work that you did there. So Latia, hopefully that helped answer your question there.
Yeah, the system is completely transparent. Folks, you can actually give us a login to your doctor so that they can go in anytime they want to and see the status of their claims and their money. So there's never a question as to whether or not you really did collect $80,000 this month for the doctor. It's right there in the system that they can look at and see and verify that with their records as well.
Yeah.
So the doctors love that part of this, being so transparent and open. They don't even get that kind of reporting from their own staff inside their own office, because they don't know how to do it.
Hey, Patrick, why don't you end up with talking about the 30-day money-back guarantee, and then I'll take everybody through the next 6 steps here.
Yeah, the guarantee we came up with a few years back, folks. No other franchise or business opportunity licensing situation that I know of in America offers a money-back guarantee. It's unheard of, and even my staff thought I was nuts when we came up with it a few years back. And I said, look, if what we have is really what we say we have, folks, let's let people go through our training, all 10 modules, all 15 hours of training. They can have access to any of our licensee materials that are out there for 30 days. By that time, you'll know whether or not this business is something that you really want to do or not. If for some reason you get buyer's remorse in 5 days or 30 days, just give us a call and say, look, I don't think this is going to be the right business for me. I'd like a refund, and we'll give you a refund of all of your money back. That's been done a few times, a handful of times over the years, but that's because we know what we have, and we're that confident that you're going to be thrilled with what you see.
Yeah.
Eric, you can summarize that whole thing on that very last slide if you want to.
Yeah.
Just keep that up there so people can kind of get a screenshot of it or something.
You bet. Trudy's saying thank you. Excellent webinar. Thank you so much. Folks, I'm going to take you through just the last few slides here, some things that you can do, and then we'll see if we can take any more last minute questions here. But we've already mentioned about the research guide. There is a downloadable research guide. Again, you can request this from the person that you've been working with here at ABS. If you don't know who that is, all of the attendees today will be gone through. And if not, we will connect you up with somebody. If you want to look over and see some of the other webinars that we've done, maybe you want to kind of dive in to see marketing works a little bit further, listen to some interviews that we've done with other licensees in the past, go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/YABS. Again, this is going to be in your slide decks if you want to see that. The third thing that you can do, and you should be doing, is talking with other folks that have been through the program and through the training. This kind of goes along with the question from Fonnie that says, in the last 20 years, have we had anybody fail at this business? Folks, let me say this. Everybody fails at every single business, whether it is ABS or whether it is with any of the other franchise opportunities that are out there. It's a fair question to ask. I'll say that. But what most people do when failures is what they do is they quit. So we've had a lot of people put this aside, get back to it a little bit later, and they've become very successful. And so talk with these folks that have been through the system already, get that reference list and chat with them. And then we've already mentioned several times about getting a live demo done for yourself. Get 1, 2, 3 if you need to prior to you coming into training. Then along with that, you're going to want to go through the purchase agreement. It's about 4 pages long. It's not a lot of gobbledygook. It's not a lot of high-end attorney with the small little letters there that you got to get a microscope after. It's plainly written. Obviously, we'd want you to go with your CPA and or your attorney. So please get a hold of that and look at the funding instructions. And then once you get through with that, then once you're satisfied, you got your funding all together, then turn all of that in and make sure that you get your training scheduled. And then remember still, folks, at the end of your 30 days of training, I'm going to put this back up over here just so that you can see it. Once you've made your payment and you've got all things and we've got everything shipped to you and you've gone through the training, you still have 30 days to review everything. And at the end of that 30 days, or before the end of the 30 days is up, you want your money back. Folks, what are you waiting on is what I kind of look at here. It is somewhat, as best as you can think of it, risk-free, because again, you're going to learn everything that we're going to take you through, 10 different modules of training. We're going to share with you anything and everything you're going to need to know about medical billing, and then still be able to turn that back in. However, you won't have all the equipment or all the software and all the connections and everything. But folks, you're going to have all the training. Kevin's asking, where is the training conducted? It's all online. It's set up on a Zoom meeting. It's set up around your schedule and the trainer's schedule. So that's all part of it. Patrick, I think we did it. We just we got down to the very nitty gritty, and I think we answered just about all these questions. Got people said that great webinar, good webinar. Thank you for doing it. Yep, everybody. So folks, we will do this again next week. Patrick, you want to say anything here as a last minute before you jump off?
Yeah, we do these webinars every week, on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Central Time. And so go back to our website tomorrow and you can sign up for next week's, which, Eric, I'm going to be interviewing one of our business owners. And folks, these are always great because you're talking to somebody who's done the due diligence, they've invested the money, they've gone through the training, they've gotten clients, and they're building their business already. And you get to ask them all the questions you want direct to them. It's live. Oh.
Very good. I think we got everything answered there. Jose, I see that you're asking, is it 30 days after training or 30 days after signing the agreement? It's 30 days after you sign the agreement. So you've got 30 days. Once you sign the agreement, you go through the training, you get all of that through, then you've got that, that's your 30 days there. So it's not like you get to go through the training and then you got 30 days after that. It's the 30 days from the time you sign.
You'll know.
Yeah.
In the first 30 days,
there
may be things during the training that you go, oh my goodness, I didn't know that I had to do that, or that they did that, or whatever. You just, tell us that you decided this is not something for you, or don't give us any reasons. We don't care. Maybe you just don't like Eric's hairdo or something. Just ask for your money back.
Lysandra says, thanks for the awesome information. Nicole says, thank you very much. Very informative. Looking forward to discussing further and seeing a demo. Great. Good. Bonnie's looking for a purchase agreement and licensee list, so we will make sure that you get that. Jose says, perfect, thank you. Need to get the slide deck? Yes, we'll get you the slide deck. Make sure that all that's there. So it looks like we had a great webinar. Thank you, everybody. Fonnie says we love Eric. Woohoo! That's nice. Thank you so much. Bertrand says awesome webinar. Loved it. Thank you so much. Thank y'all, everybody. Y'all have a great
putting all this together, Eric. Good information.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.